ever try to record something and nobody wants to cooperate? Okay. Okay, hey, hi, this is Anthony Nitz, and I am here with my good friend Judy Mina. I don't know if you see her on the screen there. Say hi, Judy.
Hi.
There she is, okay. And we are going to do a real quick segment here today because we got kind of a late start, and I apologize for that. And we're just going to kind of do a brief little, almost like a Q&A, but just kind of between us. So if you have any specific questions you want to pop in the chat window there, go ahead and pop your questions in there. Or you can go to my site at, well, no, you can't go to the site because the site's actually being rebuilt right now. And you won't be able to get that.
Should I go on my cam? Is that what I should be doing?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, let me do that.
Yeah, oh, there you go, okay.
There I am.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so now let me push you on there. See, but I don't get the preview thing. So, you want to pop your text off of there? Okay, so, anyways, we're just going to do a real quick kind of Q&A little thing. We're just going to have a kind of little chat about selling your home on your own, and just want to answer any questions that might come up. Where is my little chat window there? I can't seem to find my little chat window. Oh, there we go. Okay. So with that, we'll get started. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background here. I've been working in the real estate industry for 18 years, and I've helped a lot of people sell their homes, but one of the things that I found that was very consistent was the fact that every single one of them, when I asked them if they'd sell their own home on their own, if they could, they all answered yes. And some of them at varying levels. Some were like, yeah, we kind of thought about it for a minute. We thought we'd give it a try. They stuck a sign maybe in the window for about a couple hours, and nobody came rushing through the door, so they took it down. Other people actually tried. I had one client, the picture that I used in the beginning of my show there is the sign that I actually took from their house. They tried to sell their home on their own for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 whole years these guys were trying to do it. And what was really interesting was this guy was an attorney. And so
I'm sure he thought he could do it all, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
He's an attorney, he's a smart guy, he knows business, right?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that most people, unless you're a professional real estate person, that you wouldn't know what's involved in selling your house?
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's totally fair. If you are not involved in real estate, you're not going to know. And here's what the biggest problem is that a lot of people have is that when they try to sell their own home, they try to do it as if they were a real estate agent themselves. And that is the biggest mistake, the biggest mindset mistake that people make when they're selling their own home is trying to become a real estate agent themselves, because what you're doing is you're trying to sell your home for a totally different reason than what a real estate agent would sell your home for. And just to give you a quick little snippet there, a real estate agent is going to sell your home because that's their job and that's how they earn their living, and because during the process they're going to be able to generate a bunch of leads, right? Now, all real estate agents are going to tell you, all real estate agents are going to tell you, they're going to say, well, we're doing it because we want to provide you with the best service and we want to do good for you. And yes, that's all underlying, but
that's the business of real estate, right? I mean, you have to, that's just what everybody has to, that's just your selling, right?
Yeah,
that's your deal. But there's a whole other reason for you as a or whoever as a real estate agent. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
There's a whole other marketing plan behind the scenes that really has nothing to do with that particular person who you're selling their home for, or even if you're representing a buyer, right? There's a whole other agenda you have in the backside, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a whole different agenda. I mean, the home owner, they just want to sell their home and get the most money that they can get for it, right?
course.
Whether they're listed with an agent or on their own.
Do it on their own.
But like I said, the agents are they have kind of several reasons, and one of them is to, sell your home, get a commission, but also to get leads. They use your home as a lead building tool to get it sold. Now, that's not a bad thing. That is not necessarily a bad thing as long as the agent is really working hard and doing due diligence to get your home sold. Unfortunately, and the reason why I actually started this whole program of teaching people how to sell their own homes is because I found, or I realized that there are so many people in this business who really should not be in this business. It's a sad thing, and unfortunately, it's the truth. There's a lot of people who should not be selling real estate. The bar, I think, in my opinion, is set way too low. Some states actually require the agents to be brokers. They don't have real estate agents who are under the guidance of a broker. All of their agents are brokers, and therefore they're held accountable when issues arise. And now they affiliate themselves with an office, but they are held accountable. I believe Oregon is like that. And
so is the infrastructure for real estate, the real estate infrastructure itself to buy and sell real estate, there's an agent that's is that kind of the entry level? Somebody who can buy and sell, not just somebody who can, help coordinate a transaction, but someone who can actually buy and sell, an agent, and then the next level up is a broker, and those parameters, they have to jump through a few more hoops. Is that right?
Yeah, on a broker level, they do have to. There's a lot more testing requirements. But I say this not because I'm trying to say that if you're going to deal with somebody, deal with a licensed broker directly, because I know some brokers who probably shouldn't be selling real estate.
Well, and isn't it true that, and I've heard this a lot with the mortgage industry, that in the real estate industry, everywhere, whatever state you're in, that it attracts that very entrepreneurial spirit. And yes, there are testing requirements and credentials that you have to obtain, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not like going to get a PhD, right? And so it's relatively easy to go through that as long as you put in the hours and study, and you can usually pass the test. But beyond that, there isn't more of I guess a screening process to weed out the good folks versus the bad folks, or folks that may not be professionals. I mean, I've heard of a lot of people that are, not to douse this particular industry, but housewives who, they sell real estate on the side. They're just not, it's not their full-time gig. So their heart, their passion is not in it. And, I think you can find that in any industry, but I've heard that a lot with the real estate industry because you can make a lot of money very quickly. Is that true?
That is definitely true. You get people of all kinds who get into the business because there's a perception that you're going to make $1 million.
Right.
You see one real estate agent who they've done a good job and they've taken care of their clients, and you think to yourself, I only have to sell one house and I can make $15,000.
Right.
So if I do that twice in a year, you know what, in a lot of cases, that's my yearly salary. That's the equivalent of my salary. But when you have that mentality, the problem is you've only done it twice in a year. How much experience, how much knowledge and background can you really get? And you're supposed to have the broker, kind of back you and say, the broker will back you and say, yeah, we'll we'll kind of look over your shoulder and make sure you're doing everything right. And
But the broker's trying to close that person's own deals, right? They're out there working too, right?
Yeah, it depends on the brokerage. I mean, it really does. It's so different from one. I mean, there's brokers who hand you a phone and a desk and they say go sell real estate.
Right, that's what I've heard of.
Yeah, and some of the other brokers are really good at really hand holding the agents to try and teach them as they go, but then you're limited by really how good is that particular broker to be teaching this agent. Sometimes you have an office manager, they may be licensed, maybe they're not, and they may know a lot about real estate, and they're teaching somebody how to do real estate, but they aren't even practicing it themselves. So how do they teach it? And like I said, on the other hand, yeah, there are those that are really, really good. And the last thing that I want to do is, and this is the whole intention of this, is not to bash real estate agents at all.
Sure.
A good real estate agent is absolutely worth their weight in gold. There's statistics that back that if you have the right real estate agent, then your home sale price actually increases. Your net that you take out of the sale will actually increase if you have the right real estate agent. The problem is, how do you find the right real estate agent? And in this marketplace, in Southern California here, in the area that I worked, at one time, we had, in a small county, we had 45 or 46,000 active real estate agents, because with the prices, when they were so super inflated, you could sell one home and make your annual salary, right? And so why not? Become a real estate agent? But again, it goes back to, if they're only doing it once or twice or 3 times a year, they're not building the experience, the knowledge, the expertise that they need.
The reality is that you have to hit roadblocks and have challenges to be able to increase your level of experience, to increase your level of expertise, to really truly say. I mean, you've been doing it for 18 years, right?
Yeah, I've been in the business for 18 years.
For 18 years, you've had an opportunity to experience a number of different things. And hey, 100% over 18 years, did it all go right? Of course not. Of course not. You're going to run into roadblocks and challenges that you have to figure out how to get out of that, and how to make sure that you're doing the best deal for your client, right? So that's how you're learning. And if you're only doing 2 deals a year, and say you've only been doing it for 3 years, okay, that's 6 times. Really?
Yeah.
Do I really want to?
And
And then getting yourself to that right real estate agent. What if you go through a bad deal? Sometimes people don't recover from those, right?
Well, okay, you have to think about it like this. Would you go to, would you let your brother, who's a software engineer, represent you in a court of law?
Right. Or do
and
surgery.
Would you let your ask it like this, and not to put anybody's wife down, but I mean, we're just going to kind of pick on that, because we do have a lot of housewives who kind of go, well, this sounds like a fun thing to do. Would you let your wife list your house if she came and showed up and said, I want to sell your house? You know what I mean? I mean,
how many times? My first question would be, how many times have you done this? How much experience do you have doing this? If I'm going to put my sole investment, right? Because who has a 401k anymore, right? So if I'm going to take my house, which is my only investment now, my only thing, am I going to put that in the hands of somebody who's done it a couple of times?
Well, and one of the things in my ebook, Hardcore for Sale by Owner Manual, that gets your home sold and gets agents to pay you, it actually shows you how to identify the right agents. Because one of the, I'll have to admit that I was actually a trainer for a real estate company for a while, and one of the things that we used to do was we used to train agents how to deal with questions like that, brand new agents, how to deal with questions like that. And you want to know the silly, I'll give you an example. So, Judy, how long have you been in real estate? And you have never sold a house in your life. You've never sold a house in life. But what do people ask? And they say, how long have you been in real estate? And as absolutely ridiculous as this is, the agent would respond back to me. They say, "Well, I just started. I'm new," and I go, "No, that's not what you
Yeah,
say.
you can't say that to somebody.
You tell somebody, you know what? Seems like I've been in real estate all my life,
That's
right?"
the sales technique.
And they go, "Well, what do you, the agent says, well, how can I say that? How can I say I've been in real estate all my life? Well, you lived in a house when you were a kid, right? Grew up in those apartment buildings over there. You live in a house now. You've been in real estate all your life. Is it a lie? Is it a deception? Yeah, it is.
It's a sales
And and everybody, if they can get over that objection, guess what? They're one step closer to getting you to sign a contract that says, let me hand you my hundreds of thousands of dollars and entrust it to you. Now, what would happen if you entrusted hundreds of thousands of dollars to an attorney and they lost it? What happens if you entrust your loved ones' lives to a doctor's hands? It could be very devastating. So many people entrust hundreds of thousands of dollars to individuals who are not qualified to handle that money, and then when something goes wrong, they just go, darn.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, we got a bad deal. And the whole reason why we're even talking about this is because there's two purposes, like I said, for the book that I wrote, the Hardcore for Sale by Owner Manual to Get Your Home Sold. And that is that, number one, because I think people should have the option to be able to sell their own home and save the commissions. And number two is, like I said, to raise the bar, to get it so where people are, agents are held accountable, real estate boards are held accountable, and just made to make, if you're going to sell something that is of such value, that you have a little bit higher credential than just taking a 3-day crash course and then going down and getting your license. And it's so important to remember that. So one of the things that I wanted to say right now is, first of all, I wrote this book because of those things. And what I want to do is, for anybody who's watching right now, we're in the process of rebuilding our site. Now, our book normally sells for $67, and it's worth every single penny because it tells you, it shows you, first of all, every step you need to know about how to sell your own home. Shows you where to get all of the tools and resources to get to be able to sell your own home, because you have to realize you're taking on the job of the real estate agent, okay? And so you have to do some things. But it gives you all of those resources. The reason most people fail when trying to sell their own home is because they don't have access to the resources, they don't have access to the knowledge, and a lot of times when information is given by other, let's say real estate agents or even mortgage professionals, they give you a booklet that makes it sound like you better watch out because you're gonna get sued if you do this. Now, you know what, if you do all the right things, no, you're not going to get sued. Well, you know what, no, and that's not necessarily the case either. Anybody can sue you for anything, anywhere, at any time. It doesn't matter if you do things, you can do things perfect to the T, exactly according to the letter of the law, and still get sued. You know what I mean? So, but the point is, you want to make sure that you do just do things the right way and do it ethically and follow the steps. In this book, you get all of those tools and all of those resources. Because the site is currently being rebuilt. Anybody who's watching this right now, before the site is finished being rebuilt, and we're talking probably about 2-3 days right now. Normally it's $67. There's an email address that's sitting on, scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. If you send me an email to that message, then I will actually send you a copy of the book for free, no cost. That's only until the until the site is rebuilt. Once it's done, then you got to go and buy it like everybody else. But it's really worth it. It is a very valuable resource. One of the other tools, one of the other things that makes this book valuable is that we know that there's a certain amount of statistics that tell us, hey, we've got to, we want to sell our own home, we want to save our commissions, but man, we just don't have time. We just don't want to spend the energy, or we're lazy. And that's okay. You've got other things going on in your life, and if it's worth it to you to have somebody else do it, that's great. But in this book, we go into showing you how to pick the right real estate agent if you have to use a real estate agent, so that you don't fall victim to the people who say, oh yeah, we're gee, I've been in real estate all my life, when really they haven't. We're not going to let you fall victim to people who are just trying to swipe money out of your pocket and put a sign up and then vanish and hope that it sells, because then they'll get a big fat commission. No, we're going to connect you with the right real estate agents. And then finally, if you do decide to sell your own home, we actually show you how to sell your own home, don't pay a commission. Now that's good in and of itself, because you can save 10, 15, 20, 30, depending on where you're at, $45,000 on commissions to sell your own home. But we actually show you how to get other agents and other service providers, home inspectors, even mortgage people to pay you to get your home sold. So not only are you saving the commissions, but people are actually paying you. They're paying for your marketing. They're paying for your tools, and we show you how to do that. So if you're watching this right now, go ahead, go to that email address, info@sellahomeonyourown.com. And like I said, the site, there's actually 2 sites that are part of this program, and you'll have access to both of them, and then you'll get a copy of the book at absolutely no cost. Just my gift to you, just for watching this, again, before the site's set up. So I think that's probably that's probably it for about today. We're getting ready to start this series, and I want to go step by step through the book so you can actually make sense of what's in the book. We've written it very simple, very plain English, very easy to understand. Yeah, and if you can't understand it, then somebody around you can, because it is really simple to follow, and it's pretty detailed. So I want to go through this step by step so you have an understanding, but I want to go into it a little bit deeper, because it's about really understanding what's going on. I'll give you a little example. When I talk about people wanting to take the place of a real estate agent, you're taking the place of a real estate agent, but you're not doing the job of a real estate agent, in the sense that they want to collect leads. You just need to find a buyer.
Right.
So when you look at the real estate sign, a typical real estate sign, what do you see on it? You see name of the agent. You see phone number, company name. That's really about it. Sometimes they'll put a couple little sign writers on. Yeah, it's an ad for them. You'll see sometimes some sign writers. It'll say 4-bedroom with a pool, and a lot of them are doing internet now too. That's a good thing. But the sign really is the front part. That's the entry point to getting your home sold. When people see a sign out front, that's what draws a lot of interest. And an agent's goal with that is to get people to call. They don't want to give them any information on the sign, because they want them to call. Because statistically we know that people who are calling off of signs are driving around in neighborhoods that they cannot afford, because they're daydreaming. And so what do? They pick up the phone, their cell phone now. In the old days, you had to wait till you got home, right?
Right.
They pick up their cell phone and they go, they call the number, and if an agent answers, which a lot of times they don't,
Right.
If an agent answers, they say, how much is the house on Main Street?
Whatever, right.
And the agent says, well, that one's $400,000, and they go, oh, shoot.
Well, what are you looking for?
Yeah, and so then the people turn around and they say, well, we can only qualify for 320.
Right.
You know what? It just
I
so
got
happens.
just the property for you.
Yeah, exactly. I've got.
And there they are. Now they've gotten a warm prospect right there, right? Is that a hot prospect? I would say that's a hot prospect.
I'd say that's a hot prospect.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody
They're a
calls you
buyer.
up.
They're ready to buy.
Yeah, if somebody calls you up and they say, and they hold up a big red flag saying, "I need to buy a house," and guess what you do? You help people buy houses. But guess what it didn't do? It didn't help get your home sold, right? And so when you're doing it for sale by owner, on your sign, you want to put all kinds of criteria on there, because unlike the agent, you don't want to take 40 phone calls or even 10 or 5 phone calls a day. You're sitting in the office and you're working, and you say, you're constantly answering the phone going, it's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, it's $400,000. It's, your boss is going to kind of start going, okay, come on, let's get to work here, and you're going to get in trouble. No, if you have that information on the sign, and there's some other things that you put on the sign that we'll go into as we go through the process, it pre-qualifies the person so that the only people who are calling you are people who are interested in your house, not other prospects. We don't care about the other prospects when we're selling our own home.
Right.
So these are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about as we go through the process.
The characteristic of somebody who could sell their home on their own is someone who's gotten your ebook. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And they're educated, right? Well, if they don't have that information, they're going to be uneducated, and they're going to end up spinning their wheels. Like what you were talking about at the top of the segment when you were saying that one guy had his house on the market for 2 years.
Yeah, that was kind of silly.
Who has 2? I mean, seriously, talk about spinning your wheels. My gosh.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and that's
just ridiculous.
Fortunately for him, he was in a climbing market, an increasing market, and so it paid off for him. But not right now. No, not at all. And you can't afford to spend too much time doing it. I mean, if you want to get your home sold, get your home sold.
Right.
And we've got all the techniques in there that we're going to show you how to go through that. So with that, like I said, if you go to this website or send me an email at info@sellahomeonyourown.com, then I will send you a copy of the ebook absolutely free, no cost, only until the website is complete. Once the website's complete, then it's all done, and sorry, you got to buy it just like everybody else, but it's very much worth the value there. So with that, I am Anthony Nitz, and I am happy to provide you with this information and share with you this valuable resource. So, with that, check in with us next week. Go check on Ustream. Check on watch your Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Anthony Nitz. That's Nitz. You'll get notified when we are doing our next post, and then also on Facebook at facebook.com/Anthony Nitz. You can follow us there. And with that, we're going to say good night. Good night.